A chilling whisper sweeps across the broken realms, carrying shadows from the deepest rifts. From the jagged horizon, a dark, churning mass begins to blot out the distant, scarred sun. Thousands of aberrant forms, born of cosmic trauma, surge forward with a singular, hungry will. They are the Riftspawn, an emergent nightmare, driven by the Overmind's insidious command. Their countless wings beat a dissonant rhythm, a prelude to the coming, terrible storm. Some scuttle on chitinous legs, scaling impossible verticalities of floating, shattered earth. Others leap across chasms, their forms twisting unnaturally midair, defying all known physics. The Sky Citadel, Tiamat's bastion, shimmers with an ethereal glow, defiant against the encroaching dread. Perched atop a spire of fused worlds, it stands as a beacon of ancient power and stubborn resistance. Within its crystalline walls, the colossal rift heart pulses, a stolen jewel of raw, cosmic energy. This heart, a nexus of reality, draws the Overmind's gaze, its ultimate prize in this brutal war. The swarm approaches, a layered tapestry of terror, encircling the citadel in ever-tightening rings. Flying aberrations blanket the sky, obscuring the fractured light with their grotesque, sprawling forms. Ground-bound horrors crawl up the floating islands, their claws scraping against the ancient, scarred stone. A low, guttural hum emanates from the collective, a psychic thrum that rattles the very air. Tiamat, the five-headed dragon goddess, watches from her highest perch, her immense power radiating. Her 5 serpentine necks coil, each head assessing the approaching doom with cold, ancient fury. Her scales, like polished obsidian, reflect the grim twilight, hinting at dormant, destructive might. Around her, lesser dragons and loyal wyverns stir, their roars echoing her silent, terrible command. They are her air cavalry, ancient beasts bound by an instinctual loyalty, ready for the aerial war. A single, piercing shriek erupts from Tiamat's central head, unleashing her furious, divine will. Immediately, the Sky Citadel's defenses ignite, a symphony of elemental wrath responding to her call. Titanic storm walls materialize, swirling vortexes of dark clouds and crackling blue-white lightning. These tempest barriers spin around the citadel, a swirling shield against the encroaching swarm. Bolts of pure electrical energy arc from the storm, incinerating the foremost Riftspawn into ash. A noxious, green-tinged rain begins to fall, corrosive and searing, dissolving chitinous corrupt. Diza Sidrayan, Tiamat's weaponized domain, hisses as it strikes, melting flesh and bone alike. The lesser dragons dive into the fray, their own elemental breaths adding to the chaotic defense. Fire, ice, and poison streams erupt from their jaws, tearing through the relentless, surging tide. Tiamat herself unleashes torrents of raw magic, a goddess of war manifesting her destructive power. Her thunderous roars rip through the air, shaking the very foundations of the skybound fortress. The first wave of Riftspawn crashes against the storm walls, dissolving, burning, and shattering. Their numbers, however, seem endless, an inexhaustible tide propelled by the Overmind's dark purpose. The air thickens with the stench of ozone, burnt flesh, and the acrid tang of dissolving reality. Fallen Riftspawn bodies, grotesque and twisted, tumble into the abyssal depths below the floating islands. Yet, for every one that falls, 2 more emerge from the churning darkness, relentless and unyielding. The storm walls ripple and strain, absorbing the impacts of countless, desperate, suicidal charges. Tiamat's eyes glow with an inner fire, her determination unyielding, her ancient fury burning bright. She directs her wyverns with subtle shifts of her powerful heads, a silent, deadly ballet of war. They weave through the chaotic sky, snapping at exposed Riftspawn, their talons tearing through flesh. The ground-based invaders, undeterred by the aerial slaughter, continue their slow, upward climb. Their many legs find purchase on impossible angles, a living carpet of malice ascending towards the heart. The citadel's outer defenses, ancient stone infused with Tiamat's magic, begin to show faint cracks. A collective, piercing shriek from the swarm signals a new, more aggressive phase of the assault. The storm walls flicker, momentarily weakening under the sheer, concentrated force of the attack. Tiamat unleashes a multi-elemental breath, a searing rainbow of destruction across the charging horde. One head breathes fire, another ice, a third poison, a fourth lightning, a fifth pure sonic force. The combined blast carves a temporary swath through the flying masses, leaving a void of destruction. But the void quickly fills, the Overmind's relentless strategy overriding any individual loss. The air vibrates with the escalating conflict, a symphony of roars, shrieks, and crackling energy. The Citadel's stone weeps with magical energy, struggling to hold against the ceaseless, alien pressure. Tiamat's loyalists, humanoid acolytes, and monstrous guardians stand ready at the fortress's gates. Their weapons glow with arcane power, prepared to meet the invaders if they breach the outer perimeter. The Overmind's presence is a cold, psychic weight, pressing down on all within the battle's radius. It seeks the heart, the pulsating core of reality, yearning to twist its power to its own dark ends. The sky darkens further as more Riftspawn emerge from tears in the very fabric of the sky itself. These lesser rifts, temporary and unstable, spew forth fresh waves of horrors into the fray. The air currents around the Citadel become tumultuous, a maelstrom of wind, magic, and bodies. Tiamat's control over the elements intensifies, her fury shaping the very weather into a weapon. Gusts of wind sharp as blades tear through the Riftspawn, shredding their delicate, membranous wings. Lightning strikes with pinpoint accuracy, guided by her will, exploding groups of invaders mid-flight. The ground crawlers continue their relentless ascent, forming living ladders over the jagged rocks. Their strange forms, a chaotic mix of insectoid and reptilian features, swarm towards the fortress. The loyal wyverns, agile and deadly, engage in close-quarters combat, their fangs dripping venom. They are outmatched in sheer numbers, but their ferocity and Tiamat's guidance keep them fighting. The Citadel's outer walls now visibly shudder, the ancient stone groaning under immense, alien pressure. Fish a spiderweb across the surface, glowing faintly with trapped magical energy, a sign of strain. The Overmind's psychic presence intensifies, a focused malevolence targeting the heart's defenses. It probes for weaknesses, for any crack in Tiamat's formidable, elemental, and magical shield. Tiamat lets out a resonant roar, a challenge to the unseen intelligence that orchestrates this assault. Her defiance burns bright, a beacon of raw power against the encroaching, cosmic despair. The sky above the Citadel now truly darkens, a living canopy of writhing, alien but the storm walls, once impenetrable, now show patches of thinning energy, vulnerable to penetration. A massive, grotesque Riftspawn, larger than the rest, hurls itself at a weakened section. It slams into the magical barrier, its body exploding in a shower of noxious, green ichor. The impact creates a momentary breach, a gaping hole through which more horrors pour. Tiamat immediately closes the gap with a surge of lightning, incinerating the first wave of intruders. But the tactic is clear. The Overmind plans to overwhelm through sheer, suicidal numbers. The air grows heavy with the metallic temps of blood and the burning smell of arcane energies. The lesser dragons are fighting desperately, their numbers slowly dwindling against the endless tide. Their roars turn to pained shrieks as they are swarmed, pulled down by dozens of ravenous claws. Tiamat's expression, though draconic, conveys a grim resolve. A goddess facing impossible odds. She unleashes another devastating breath, a focused beam of pure, destructive energy from all 5 heads. The beam slices through the swarm, carving a path of utter annihilation, a temporary reprieve. Yet, the ceaseless pressure persists, the Overmind's cold logic driving its forces forward. The Sky Citadel, once majestic, now appears besieged, battered a fortress on the brink. The Overmind shifts its strategy, a new, more insidious plan beginning to unfold from the darkness. Some Riftspawn, rather than attacking, begin to coalesce, their bodies fusing into larger forms. Their individual screams merge into a single, horrifying groan as their flesh reshapes unnaturally. These mutated creatures swell, their forms becoming monstrous, purpose-built engines of destruction. Living bridges begin to extend from distant floating islands, stretching towards the Citadel's walls. These organic spans, made of writhing, fused Riftspawn, undulate ominously over the abyss. Giant battering ram creatures, masses of hardened chitin and muscle, form at the bridgeheads. Their grotesque heads, reinforced with jagged bone, aim directly at the Citadel's central heart chamber. The Overmind's cold intelligence directs these new siege forms, a calculated, devastating assault. The living bridges extend further, snapping into place with sickening organic clicks and groans. The colossal battering rams begin their slow, inexorable advance across these writhing pathways. Tiamat perceives this new threat, her ancient eyes narrowing with a surge of desperate fury. She unleashes a focused barrage of lightning, attempting to sever the organic siege bridges. The electrical energy sizzles and sparks, burning through the fused Riftspawn flesh with agonizing slowness. The bridges writhe and shriek, but their sheer mass and constant self-repair defy immediate destruction. The battering rams continue their march, their heavy steps echoing across the fragile, living spans. Tiamat's remaining loyal dragons throw themselves at the bridges, tearing and biting with fierce resolve. They are overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the constructs, their valiant efforts proving insufficient. The Citadel's outer gates, previously unbreached, now face the direct threat of the colossal rams. Within the fortress, Tiamat's minions, warrior acolytes, steel themselves for the inevitable impact. Their faces are grim, knowing their defense might be the last, desperate stand for their goddess. The first battering ram reaches the Citadel wall, its grotesque head poised to strike the ancient stone. With a thunderous crash, it slams into the enchanted barrier, sending shockwaves through the entire fortress. Cracks spiderweb outwards from the impact point, glowing with faint, protesting magical energy. Another ram strikes, then another, a relentless, rhythmic assault upon the Citadel's very foundations. The sound of stone shattering mingles with the shrieks of the Riftspawn and Tiamat's furious roars. Her worshippers on the battlements return fire with arcane bolts, but their magic barely dents the rams. The air fills with dust and debris as sections of the Citadel wall begin to crumble under the assault. A large chunk of the outer wall breaks away, tumbling into the endless, swirling abyss below. The scream of falling stone is quickly drowned out by the triumphant shrieks of the invading swarm. Through the breach, countless smaller Riftspawn pour into the Citadel, their hunger insatiable. Tiamat's loyalists meet them with desperate ferocity, their blades clashing against chitinous forms, but the sheer numbers overwhelm them, their defenses collapsing under the alien tide. One by one, her devoted minions fall, their lives extinguished in a desperate, losing battle. The Citadel's inner chambers, once sacred, are now desecrated by the crawling, alien invaders. Tiamat watches, her 5 heads twisting in a silent snarl of divine rage and impotent sorrow. She cannot be everywhere at once, her power stretched thin, defending the crucial rift heart. The heart, nestled deep within the Citadel's core, pulses with an increasingly erratic rhythm. Its vibrant, crystalline glow flickers, responding to the immense, destructive forces at play. From the shattered walls, thin, shadowy threads of energy begin to snake towards the heart. These are the Overmind's tendrils, probing, seeking to attach and drain the heart's immense power. Tiamat unleashes a desperate blast of arcane energy, attempting to sever these encroaching threads. The threads recoil momentarily, hissing with dark energy, but they quickly reform, relentless. The situation within the Citadel grows dire, its fate hanging by a rapidly fraying thread. Suddenly, a distant earth-shaking roar rips through the tumultuous sky, a sound of primal fury. Titan Rex, drawn by the immense energy clash, senses the profound imbalance in the fused world. His instincts, ancient and territorial, compel him towards the epicenter of this cosmic upheaval. He climbs the sheer faces of falling debris, using tumbling rock chunks as makeshift, precarious platforms. His massive claws find purchase on the unstable stone, sending showers of dust and smaller rocks into the void. He leaps from one crumbling landmass to another, a titan navigating a world, tearing itself apart. His roars echo through the chaotic air, a challenge to whatever dares to disrupt the natural order. The aerial battle rages around him, but Rex's singular focus remains on the source of the power surge. He smashes through a cluster of flying Riftspawn, his powerful jaws snapping them from the air. Their chitinous bodies shatter against his immense strength, raining down as broken debris. He sees the Sky Citadel, a battered jewel, and the pulsating rift heart within its crumbling core. Though an ancient adversary, Tiamat's struggle against the Overmind resonates with his own primal fury. He perceives the alien threat as a violation, an unnatural corruption of the very fabric of existence. With another thunderous roar, he charges directly into the airborne Riftspawn, a living avalanche of muscle. His powerful tail sweeps through the air, sending dozens of creatures spiraling into the abyss. He tears at the living bridges, his teeth ripping through the fused organic material with savage force. The Overmind's forces, momentarily distracted by this new, unexpected threat, falter slightly. Tiamat, seeing Rex's arrival, registers a flicker of surprise, quickly replaced by grim determination. Their long-standing rivalry momentarily forgotten, a silent, instinctive understanding passes between them. She recognizes the raw power he brings, a force capable of turning the tide in this desperate siege. Tiamat unleashes a surge of wind magic, not against Rex, but around him, boosting his upward momentum. The powerful currents lift his immense body, allowing him to reach higher siege constructs with ease. Rex slams into a giant battering ram, his full weight and momentum channeled into a devastating impact. The ram shudders, its fused body groaning under the unprecedented force, then begins to crack. He tears into its grotesque form with his jaws, ripping away chunks of hardened chitin and muscle. The organic bridge supporting it buckles, unable to withstand the furious, destructive onslaught. With a final, earth-shattering roar, Rex shoves the battering ram off its perch, sending it plummeting. The living bridge snaps, its writhing segments flailing before collapsing into the swirling darkness. A cheer, faint but defiant, rises from Tiamat's remaining loyalists within the Citadel's walls. Tiamat, empowered by Rex's presence, focuses her elemental fury on the remaining siege constructs. She rains down lightning and acid upon them, weakening their structure for Rex's brutal attacks. Rex, a force of pure, untamed destruction, continues to dismantle the Overmind's engineered threats. He leaps from one crumbling island to another, a roaring, unstoppable engine of primal vengeance. The Overmind's threads, attempting to attach to the heart, flicker and recede under the combined pressure. The Citadel's heart, though still vulnerable, now pulses with a slightly more stable, hopeful glow. Tiamat and Rex, ancient rivals, fight side by side. A temporary, unspoken alliance against a common foe. Their combined power creates a devastating synergy, a storm of magic and brute force against the swarm. Tiamat uses her wind control to deflect incoming Riftspawn, clearing paths for Rex's rampaging charges. Rex, in turn, smashes through clusters of ground invaders, preventing them from reaching the goddess. The sky above the Citadel begins to clear slightly, the tide of the battle slowly, imperceptibly turning. The Overmind, sensing the shift, unleashes a wave of psychic frustration, a cold, piercing shriek. It directs its remaining forces with renewed, desperate fervor, unwilling to relinquish its prize. More Riftspawns stream from the dimensional tiers, a final, desperate surge against the two titans. Tiamat and Rex stand firm, their forms silhouetted against the tumultuous sky, radiating immense power. The Citadel, though heavily damaged, still stands, its core protected by their unlikely alliance. Rex lets out a defiant roar, his chest heaving, his eyes burning with the thrill of battle. Tiamat's 5 heads hiss in unison, a silent promise of destruction to the encroaching darkness. The remaining siege constructs crumble under their combined assault, their purpose The Overmind's direct physical threat to the heart is momentarily neutralized, but its will persists. It shifts its focus, a cunning, malevolent intelligence adapting to the unexpected resistance. The psychic pressure intensifies, a focused beam of pure, mental agony directed at the Citadel. Tiamat shields the heart with her own body, absorbing the brunt of the Overmind's insidious attack. The crystalline heart pulses wildly, its energy fluctuating under the assault, a dangerous resonance. The Overmind, unable to breach the physical defenses, attempts a direct psychic assault through the heart. It channels its vast, cosmic will into a single, concentrated blast of raw, mental energy. This unseen force, cold and searing, surges from the heart, targeting Tiamat directly through their connection. Tiamat recoils, a spasm of unimaginable pain racking her immense, divine form, her scales shimmering. She roars, not in anger, but in pure, unadulterated agony, a sound that rips through the very air. The blast hits her with full force, a psychic spear piercing her ancient, powerful essence. Her body convulses, her strength momentarily failing under the overwhelming, alien psychic attack. Tiamat collapses slightly, one wing scraping against the citadel's crumbling spires, sending debris plummeting. A wave of profound weakness washes over her, her divine energy flickering like a dying flame. Her 5 heads droop, their eyes dimming, the vibrant glow of her scales dulling significantly. Rex, witnessing her sudden agony, lets out a guttural growl, a sound of unexpected concern and fury. He recognizes the profound nature of her wound, an attack beyond mere physical devastation. The Overmind's psychic presence swells, a triumphant, cold whisper echoing through the shattered realms. It had inflicted a grievous blow, weakening the goddess, leaving her vulnerable for the final capture. The Sky Citadel, though still standing, now bears the scars of a brutal, prolonged siege. Parts of its majestic structure are gone, crumbled into the abyss, leaving gaping, raw wounds. The storm walls have dissipated, leaving the fortress exposed to the cold, unforgiving void. Tiamat's remaining loyalists, Fewi number look on in horror, their goddess brought low. They rally around her weakened form, prepared to offer their lives as a final, desperate shield. The Riftspawn, sensing the shift in power, surge forward with renewed, ravenous intensity. They climb over the broken walls, swarming towards the now-exposed heart with horrifying speed. Rex, enraged by the Overmind's insidious attack, charges into the renewed horde with primal fury. He becomes a living whirlwind of teeth and claws, tearing through dozens of Riftspawn with each swipe. His roars are now a continuous, furious bellow, a defiant challenge to the unseen cosmic entity. He protects Tiamat's weakened form instinctively, a territorial beast guarding its domain, even from a rival. The ground around the citadel trembles as Rex's immense bulk moves, shaking the very foundations. Tiamat slowly, painfully, begins to stir, her eyes regaining a faint, defiant spark of ancient power. Her breath, though shallow, begins to stir the air around her. A faint ripple of elemental magic. She pushes herself upward, her massive body trembling with the effort, refusing to be defeated. The Overmind's psychic tendrils snake towards the heart again, emboldened by Tiamat's temporary ink, but Rex intercepts them, his massive jaws snapping at the shadowy energy, severing their connection. The Overmind shrieks in frustration, its plans thwarted by the unexpected, savage intervention. Tiamat, though wounded, focuses her remaining strength, a silent resolve hardening her gaze. She unleashes a single, potent blast of pure energy from her central head, targeting the heart. The energy does not attack, but rather reinforces, shoring up the heart's defenses against intrusion. The crystalline heart pulses with renewed, albeit faint, defiance, resisting the Overmind's grasp. Rex continues his rampage, a wall of muscle and primal rage, holding back the relentless Riftspawn tide. His scales shimmer with residual energy from his previous evolution, a hint of latent power. Tiamat, slowly recovering, begins to conjure minor elemental barriers, assisting Rex in the defense. Her movements are still pained, but her will remains unbroken, her spirit indomitable against the foe. The Citadel's interior is a chaotic maelstrom of battle, a desperate struggle for every inch of ground. The Overmind, realizing its direct assault on the heart is failing, shifts its strategy once more. It withdraws some of its forces, a calculated retreat, but not a surrender of its ultimate goal. The immediate pressure on the Citadel lessens, the swarm receding into the chaotic, fractured sky. A tense silence descends, broken only by the groaning of the wounded Citadel and the distant roars. Tiamat looks at Rex, a flicker of something akin to gratitude in her ancient, reptilian eyes. Rex meets her gaze, a primal understanding passing between the two colossal, unlikely allies. Their temporary pact, born of necessity, had prevented the Overmind from seizing its prize, but the victory feels hollow, the cost of the defense etched into the very fabric of the fortress. The Sky Citadel, Tiamat's once proud bastion, now stands as a testament to brutal, desperate survival. Its crystalline spires are shattered, its walls breached, its grandeur irrevocably diminished. The heart within still pulses, but its glow is subdued, its energy drained by the psychic assault. Tiamat, though alive, is severely weakened, her divine essence scarred by the Overmind's direct attack. Her wounds are not merely physical. A deeper, spiritual exhaustion permeates her very being. She breathes deeply, her chest heaving, the effort visible even in her immense, powerful form. Her loyalists tend to the fallen, their faces etched with grief and weary, hard-won relief. Rex surveys the devastation, his primal instincts telling him this battle is merely a prelude. The Overmind is not defeated. It is merely retreated, its malevolent intelligence still lurking. The air still hums with residual dark energy, a lingering echo of the cosmic entity's presence. The rift scars in the sky above the Citadel shimmer ominously, revealing glimpses of other fractured worlds. Tiamat knows the Overmind will return, its hunger for the rift hearts unyielding, its purpose relentless. She looks at the damaged heart, its power diminished, its vulnerability now exposed to a cosmic foe. Rex lets out a low rumble, a sound of warning and continued defiance in the face of the unknown. The alliance between them, fragile and unspoken, remains a crucial, desperate necessity. The Overmind's ultimate goal remains unclear, but its capacity for destruction is terrifyingly evident. Tiamat closes her eyes momentarily, gathering her strength, preparing for the next inevitable confrontation. The Sky Citadel, once a symbol of her dominion, now stands as a fragile monument to a costly victory. The silence that follows the battle is heavy, pregnant with the promise of future, darker conflicts. The wounded goddess, her power diminished, stares out at the scarred, ever-changing landscape. Her gaze drifts to the distant, churning rifts, knowing new horrors will soon emerge from their depths. Rex remains vigilant, his massive form a silent, immovable guardian against the lingering threat. The fused world itself seems too grown, a cosmic entity struggling under the weight of endless war. Tiamat raises her central head slightly, a faint, defiant spark returning to her ancient eyes. She is weakened, but not broken, her resolve tempered by the searing pain of the Overmind's strike. The Citadel, though barely standing, still holds its precious heart, thanks to their combined efforts. But the cost was immense, a wound that may never truly heal, a goddess brought to her knees. The Overmind, from its unseen lair, plots its next, more devastating move, its patience endless. The fractured realms hold many more rift hearts, each a target for its insidious, consuming hunger. Tiamat knows this fragile peace cannot last. The true war has only just begun to unfold. Her gaze drifts to Rex, a silent acknowledgement of their shared fate in this hostile, evolving multiverse. A Saravalias, but also a shield, a force of nature against a cosmic, alien evil. The Sky Citadel, a battered monument, floats precariously above the churning, abyssal depths. Tiamat, severely weakened, faces an uncertain future, her empire threatened, her power diminished. The Overmind's shadow looms, a promise of relentless, terrifying conflict yet to come. The goddess of dragons, scarred and weary, watches the shattered horizon, waiting for the dawn. But in this dark, fractured world, true dawn may never again truly break for the ancient gods. Her wounded form trembles slightly, a chilling premonition of battles yet unfought, destinies yet unwritten.